Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the World of Wrestling podcast. Here today to discuss about the WWE Raw, September 22nd, 2025 review. I thought Monday Night Raw was a fair show, pretty entertaining. Had some good storyline development that took place on this show. Maybe a little rough review gave them a kick in the ass to finally get them to produce a decent enough show to build towards a pay-per-view event, because ESPN writer, who is also a biased AEW fan for whatever reason, shit all over this and gave it a C as an average show, which pretty much what I stated as what WWE WrestlePalooza was on ESPN. And I was not impressed by the show whatsoever. If you don't believe me, go back and look at my review on the channel. Anyway, we kickstarted the show with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. They both came out. It's announced that they will face each other over the Crown Jewel Championship for 2025. This has become a regular thing, so we will not be seeing any World or Women's Championship belts defended at this event. It will all be mid-card championships or just rivalry matches overall. So anyway, they both come out. Seth tells them to back away as he gets in the ring, meaning his guys within his group. He and Cody are face-to-face in the ring. The fans chant Cody as Seth tells them from the moment they both walked out of SummerSlam as champions, he had Crown Jewel circled on the calendar. They both had some hoops to jump through, but here they are. Champion versus champion. Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. Two of the very best in the world in their prime, one-on-one. May the best man win. And it should be that simple, but it's not, because it's them and it's deeper than that and bigger than that. He says he is pretty good at reading people. He knows what everyone in the arena thinks about him. He knows what the locker room thinks about him, what the internet thinks about him, what those watching on Netflix think about him, but he doesn't give a damn. He says the fans don't know what is good for them, and they don't have the right to make decisions. A loud CM Punk chant erupts from the fans. He says that fortunately it is not about CM Punk because he's not a champion. He knows what that moron thinks of him. What he wants to know is what Cody thinks of him. Cody tells Seth it's complicated. Shouldn't be. Seth made some questionable choices. One of them is standing outside of the ring and he greets Paul Heyman. Cody tells Seth that Seth changed his life. He came back at WrestleMania, but Seth had the courage to stand in the ring in front of an opponent he didn't know. He changed his life at Hell in a Cell. He changed his career at WrestleMania 40 when he was his Shield. He changed his life when he helped bring the title to his family. It shouldn't be complicated. He just had Becky on his podcast. He knows it's Wrestling 101 for him to run him down, but he says that a better question is, what does Seth think of himself? He says Seth Rollins could be the absolute best, but that Seth is not hiding behind the three goons. He asks Seth what he can do for him right now. Seth tells him they talk about the ring. They need to talk about the watch that he is wearing. He says that the watch that he is wearing is the watch that Cody gave him back at WrestleMania 40, which he did not wear a single time since then until last night. And he knows to know if the watch was a real gift or was it a token gesture, because Cody is fantastic at saying all the right things about him. Glowing praise, and he heaps on him when it suits Cody, because in his next breath, Cody undermines every single thing that Seth stands for. Cody will say with a straight face that he's the right person to lead this industry into the future. Cody says that he is the quarterback, but if Cody really believes that, what does that say about Seth? He tells Cody that either Cody doesn't think he is good enough or Cody does not think he's as good as him. He says that the Vision are not goons. They are not just a group of people. They are an idea of what the future of this industry looks like, and it runs through him. He is the tip of the spear, not Cody. He says Cody can be the quarterback, but he will be his quarterback. Sounds like he's portraying The Rock here, I guess. He tells Cody if he does not agree with that, it doesn't matter. Because in 3 weeks at Crown Jewel, the truth will come out. By any means necessary. Cody will find out that he's the creator. He is the prime mover. This is not a two-man show. Seth Rollins says he is the alpha. I would have loved to hear Cody say, well, then I'm the omega. Cody says that Seth is the alpha. A lot of questions. He has questions for Seth. In 3 matches they had, they have all been one-on-one. He asked him if at Crown Jewel that will be the case. And in 3 matches that they have had, how many of them has Seth won? Cody slams a microphone on Seth's chest and leaves the ring. The fans chant for Cody, stares at Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Seth waves them off, and Cody walks away as his music hits. We then cut back with Jimmy and Jey Uso. Jimmy tells Jey what happened at WrestlePalooza was trash. He knows they can beat them. He went to go talk to Adam Pearce to get a rematch, but Pearce told him that Jey made his own match, him against LA Knight. And Jimmy tells Jey that Jey is busted up and hurt. Jey tells him that he thinks that they would have won at WrestlePalooza if LA Knight was not the referee, and he thinks the Vision would have taken care of LA Knight last week had Jimmy not tagged with him last week. Jimmy asks Jey if he is blaming him, and Jey tells him no. He's telling Jimmy that they have a lot to handle, and they will after his body's LA Knight, and Jey walks away. We cut then to the New Day and Grayson Waller coming down to the ring for our first match of the evening in a 6-man, no disqualification tag team match with Penta and the War Raiders against the New Day and Grayson Waller. This match actually was not bad for the opener of the show. Very entertaining. Hardcore wrestling, though, involved. Penta and War Raiders actually win this matchup, though. And that's pretty much it. Nothing really special happened here, but the match was not bad. I'm looking forward to Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. I think that match is going to be interesting. I think Seth Rollins should win that match, but there's also another factor that could play into this. CM Punk could get involved in this match and cost Seth Rollins the opportunity to win this match, to drag out this rivalry even further, possibly to build it up into a War Games match. More than likely, I would say. So, I'm leaning towards that, probably. Back from the commercial break after the match was over. Oh, wait. We cut back and see that Judgment Day, Dominic tells Finn that the whole thing with Rusev has gotten out of hand. He is going after his Intercontinental title. Finn asks him why he doesn't ask his new friend El Grande Americano. Dominic tells him that he is back in Mexico. He asks Finn what he is doing tonight, and Finn tells him he's busy. Dom asks JD what he's doing tonight, and JD says he's busy as well. And Roxanne tells JD that they are the Judgment Day and he needs to help him. JD says he will help him, but He won't help Dominic for him. He will help him for the Judgment Day. So apparently a lot of people in the Judgment Day are not caring for Dominic Mysterio. JD tells him that he will go speak with Adam Pearce, but Dom tells him that he doesn't have to. He spoke to Adam, and Adam made JD against Rusev anyway. What the fuck? That's pretty weird. We then go backstage with Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. Lyra apologizes for last week, but Bayley tells her it was so good to see her again, and she asks Lyra if she would like to be in her corner tonight. Lyra asks her if she's joking because Bayley yelled at her last week. Bayley asks Lyra if she was joking. Lyra tells Bayley that if it really means a lot to Bayley, and if it gets her to be the best version of herself, she'll be there. Bayley tells her no takebacks, and they have a handshake. Okay. Next, we have Adam Pearce in the ring, and he introduces the new Women's World Champion, Stephanie Vaquer, which I was surprised she actually won. She comes out and speaks Spanish and in English. Stephanie says she has her hero, that is her dad. We see her dad at ringside. She says with pride she can say that she is the first woman Latin American World Champion. This title represents years of sacrifice. She says this represents the motivation and support that everyone has given her. And all of them celebrated with her at WrestlePalooza, and she thanks them for that. She says she will keep making history, and nobody can stop her, because she is the first women's champion. First WWE women's champion. I don't think that's true. Adam says Tiffany will defend her title in a triple threat match on SmackDown, and at Crown Jewel, Stephanie will face the winner of that match for the Crown Jewel Women's Championship. Stephanie says she will be there as she raises her title in the air with pyro going off. We see clips of Brock Lesnar defeating John Cena at WrestlePalooza. Stephanie is backstage, and she is stopped by Nikki Bella and Rhea Ripley. They congratulate her. In come the Kabuki Warriors, and Asuka tells Stephanie that Io should be the champion. Stephanie tells Asuka that she will show her why she is a champion. Rhea tells Asuka that out of respect for Io, she tried to stay out of her way, but she's sick and tired of her attitude. Asuka tells her she will show her why she is not ready for Asuka. And Rhea says she is ready for Asuka, and she challenges her to a match tonight. Asuka accepts the challenge and walks away. Next, we had Bayley going one-on-one with Roxanne Perez with Lyra Valkyria in her corner, and Raquel Rodriguez in Roxanne's corner. This match was pretty decent. The ending of the match was actually more important to me than anything else, is the after effect, because Lyra gets in the ring after the match is over. She begins to clap. She hugs Bayley, but Bayley pushes her down. She yells at Lyra, telling her if she thinks she can touch her. Bayley tells her to stay out of it, and she walks away. That was very bizarre, but the split personality disorder continues for Bayley. So I don't know where this is going, but hopefully they get to a point at some point within the next couple of episodes. I'd say by next week or the week before. I give them 2 weeks. If they haven't gotten to the fucking point yet of this gimmick or where they're going with it, I say this is a dead act. And it kind of sucks because it looks promising in my opinion. So we cut to Cody Rhodes, who is walking and he shakes hands with Jimmy. He congratulates Cody on his win. Cody asks him how he's doing, and Jimmy says he's good. Cody asks Jimmy how Jay is, and Jimmy says Jay is in his head. He is not listening to him, but maybe he'll listen to Cody. He tells Jimmy that he'll talk to Jay, and Cody walks away. Back from a commercial break, we see Cody talking to Jay Uso in his locker room. Cody tells Jay that he spoke to Jimmy, and Jimmy seems a bit worried about him. Jay tells him he's good. Cody tells him that if he wasn't good, he has been there. It's highs and lows, wins and losses, and when that happens, sometimes people lash out, and he has been there before. Tells Jay he has his fans, family, and friends, and they believe in him. Jay thanks him and tells him that he will find his way back to the top. Cody walks away, and we cut to the ring. There was a moment in time that he kind of stared at the WWE Championship, I believe, but I might be misinformed. Maybe he was just looking down like he didn't want to hear the lecture from Cody Rhodes. And personally, I think Cody is kind of become a politician. He dresses like a politician. He speaks the right words all the time. He's always politically correct all the time, too. If you didn't know any better, you'd think that Cody Rhodes was the new version of JBL, only a far better wrestler and a far better talker on the microphone. Just my own personal opinion. And I think he could pull that off, too, if he played a heel character. Because he dresses like a politician. He says all the right things as a politician would to cover up his bullshit. And, it just seems the appropriate thing. Not to mention it would match up to a lot of what's going on with the transformation of a lot of the friends he became friends with that turned on him. That they just got fed up of his act and they realized they started to believe he was a bunch of bullshit. Which would play very well into his heel role gimmick that he would inevitably become, I believe. So yeah, him playing a bullshit politician type wrestler would probably be the best move for him. Not saying he has to go full-blown political figure type, like a JBL type of thing. But he does seem to come across like the politically correct politician. But moving on. JD McDonough went up against Rusev. This was a one-sided ass beating. Pretty much, Rusev wins the match by submission. Dominic Mysterio was nowhere to be found to help this poor dude. I believe JD was asking for help from Dominic, and Dominic was just too scared and intimidated by Rusev that he just stood outside he got up on the apron, looked like he was going to get it, and just stopped instantly once the accolades was locked in. He did not move or do anything. He just looked in awe and fear that this dude was going to kill him if he got in the ring and tried to do anything about it. In which case, he didn't even do anything after the match was over. Finn Balor had to come down to the ring and make the save, or JD McDonough's back would have been torqued so badly that he might have broke his back or had a herniated disc or something like that, for all we know. So, that's pretty much it. So, Dominic definitely looks like he's getting cut out of the Judgment Day. I always thought it was going to be Finn Balor next, but it doesn't seem like that's the case right now, at least what they're telling us here through the story. JD was a little pissed off at Dominic. Finn Balor was pissed off at him, but JD was asking Finn Balor not to fight with Dominic. There's no point in us fighting with each other, and they kind of moved off into the backstage area, and that was it. Then we cut to the back. We have Io tells Asuka that she doesn't have to do this. Asuka says she has to teach Rhea respect. She does not want advice from someone who lost, and Asuka walks away, and Kairi tells her that they must listen to Asuka. Oh, Jesus. Jackie Redmond's backstage with LA Knight. He calls Jackie Wardy. He says Jay comes in all hot, and he asks if Jay should be worried about him or his health. He says he's tried to make sure that Jay was good, but Jay pushed him out of the way and he ate a spear through the table. He tells Jay he does not want to hurt him, but if he makes him, he will. LA Knight says that Jay hurt himself on the weekend, but he will hit him with a BFT for his troubles, with everyone saying LA Knight, yeah. So next we had the LA Knight match with Jey Uso. This was a fair, decent matchup, and thankfully we didn't get a Vision main event match. This wasn't even the main event. This was close to the main event, but not the main event just quite. And it had Jey Uso and LA Knight, so they kind of changed it up just a tad, but it still involved the Vision with the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed storyline development that's taking place. So we're definitely going to get a War Games match with the Usos, LA Knight, and I think CM Punk. More than likely is what we're going to see here. Going up against Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, and probably a fourth member that they'll dig up from somewhere. Probably either Brock Lesnar or a new member to the Vision that's a male figure. And that's probably where they're going to go with that, more than likely. At least to my belief, anyway. Anywho. So Jey Uso wins the matchup. He leaves the ring and begins walking, but out comes Jimmy, and Braun and Bronson Reed are on the ring apron, and Jimmy tells Jay to help LA Knight. Jimmy runs down to the ring with a steel chair as Jay stays in the back. Heyman tells Braun and Bronson Reed no, they head to the back, and that's pretty much the end of that. Braun Breaker really was tempted to get in the ring anyway and just beat the shit out of Jimmy. I love Braun Breaker, man. He's a fucking badass. He reminds me of Scott Steiner. He's a lot like his uncle. Rick Steiner, not so much. He might as well have been Scott Steiner's son. Because he acts exactly like him in a lot of ways. We cut to the back, and Seth is looking at his wife, and Becky Lynch tells Seth that the Usos are disrespecting them. Becky goes on to talk about herself, and she says the fans are trying to steal everything that they have built. She says CM Punk, AJ Lee, and Cody Rhodes have not done what they have done, and she's going to make an example. She grabs her Continental belt and leaves. Seth continues to look at his watch, and the camera cuts to Rhea Ripley, who is stretching for her match. In comes Io, and she tells Rhea that she needs to call off the match. Rhea says the match has to happen. Maybe her and Asuka can beat the respect into each other the same way they did. Io tells Rhea that Asuka is family and she can trust Asuka. Io asks Rhea if she can trust her, and she walks away. So, interesting there. Next, we had Maxine Dupree backstage with Adam Pearce. He tells her that this women's division is very competitive, but for her to keep doing what she is doing, he will find her an opponent. She thanks him and walks away. Okay, great. Big deal. In comes AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. AJ tells him that he doesn't like El Grande Americano. He asks Adam how many of them there are, and Dragon Lee tells him that they want a tag team match next week. Pierce makes the match for next week, and AJ tells Adam to stop signing Americanos. AJ and Dragon Lee walk away after that. Next, we had the main event with Asuka and Rhea Ripley. This was a fun main event televised match. Rhea Ripley, though, ends up winning the matchup. Much needed win here for her to keep her momentum going, giving her more reason and fuel to the fire as to why she should be able to challenge for the Women's World Championship at some point. After the match is over, though, Asuka with the poison mist to the face of Rhea. Asuka tells Kairi Sane to hit Rhea, and Kairi begins to hit her with very terrible attacks that look fucking atrocious and look like children smacks when they're hitting their parent when they don't want to do what their parent wants. That's how bad the fucking attack was by Kairi Sane. Io Sky comes out, runs to the ring. She stops Asuka, and Asuka hugs Io. Asuka turns around and she hits Io with a spinning elbow. And then Asuka tells Kairi Sane to hit Io and Kairi with the right hands, which were absolutely terrible as well. Asuka with a kick to the face and Kairi on the top rope. She lands an insane elbow. Asuka celebrates as Raw goes off the air. I, again, say that Raw was not a bad show whatsoever. I think it was a fair and entertaining show. I think the storylines were progressed in this episode of Raw. A lot better than what we've seen in the last couple of months. So I got to give WWE credit. But I think it has to do with the review that ESPN gave them for their first ever PLE event that they had on ESPN. And I think it struck a fire under their ass, and now creatively they're trying to actually produce a show, not because of us, but because the writers of ESPN think that the show was not really all that hyped up to be. It was just average at best. So they didn't particularly like the review, more than likely, and that's why we're getting what we're getting from them. So now, as fans, we have to depend not on our voices, but other people who are paying for them to air their shit on their show, on their app, their service. And, I don't know, man. I have no idea. But it's pretty pathetic. Ticket prices for wrestling is outrageous when it comes to WWE. I mean, if you want to pay the kind of money people are paying to see a WWE event for an actual boxing event or a UFC event, something of that kind of nature, that's reasonable to pay that kind of money, and I'll tell you why. The thing is that what you see in that ring or octagon is genuine results. They are not predetermined. They're not a show. I mean, technically it's looked upon as a show to entertain the audience with authentic, genuine, sports-like results, but they're not meant to entertain you. You're there because you enjoy the sport, regardless of what you get from it. You just love the sport. That's why you're there, to enjoy the science or the strategy or the athletic ability of these fighters to do what they do inside the ring or octagon, depending on what sport you're talking about, whether it's boxing or MMA. But wrestling, their prices are outrageously too high. The prices that they were charging people before they went to TKO was the more appropriate amount of money that you pay for to see these events. Just last year at Royal Rumble in 2024, I spent $2,500 on 2 seats, meaning I spent $5,000 total on just 2 seats alone. Front row, in a fucking Tropicana Field baseball stadium. That is unbelievably expensive, but it was still technically affordable if you were to break it down in monthly payments, or if you had the full $5,000, you just fork it out and be done with it. And that's it. But we're seeing ticket prices for like WrestlePalooza was like $15,000 to be where I was sitting. I was sitting in the 3rd row. You could literally see me on camera during the Royal Rumble 2024 event. And I'm just mind-boggled how we went from what I paid for last year to now we're looking at people having to pay $15,000 for a B-level pay-per-view inside of an arena, not even a stadium. And then if you want to go see WrestleMania in those kinds of seats, you're paying up to at least $30,000 for one ticket. I don't know where these people are getting the money, but clearly WWE does not care about its fans at all. They care about the money, and that's it. So the only way you are going to get any change from this company now is you have to be dependent on the company that is giving them the money, of them being upset with what they produced on their platform. That's where we've gotten to with professional wrestling within WWE. I don't know, man. I just don't know. You got a better chance of seeing me at an AEW pay-per-view event than you do seeing me at a WWE pay-per-view event, because at least AEW can... I can relate to their prices. I can afford that, paying it outright without having to pay monthly payments. There's no fucking way I would go out of my way to pay money to go see a WWE event with those kind of prices. That is just mind-boggling insane. I would not be able to afford that, nor would I want to. They are not providing top-tier level entertainment like they were back in the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era deserves that kind of money that they are charging now. They were delivering great content. People were stoked for that. 5+ million viewers a night on Monday Night Raw we were getting when we had the WWF Raw's War. And they did not charge anywhere close to what they're charging now. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. But that's just my viewpoint on that. Let me know what you guys think. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching. And have a great night, guys. Bye.